When we came out of our election cycle at the end of October, we anticipated that due to the economy and generally November and December being a little slower, we warned our employees that we may be a little slow and that there may be some time off for them, and that we would close down for a couple extra days around the Christmas and New Year holiday, and we went into November, and we saw nothing but just chaos and fires to put out, and a lot more work than we had anticipated, and it's just grown and grown and grown throughout that, to the point now where here we are the week before Christmas, and we've got so much work that we're asking our employees to come in during those days that we planned off.
But there was still enough time to halt the presses and put on one heck of an employee Christmas meal.
And what kind of slabs you got there? Those are not hot dogs on a stick.
Yeah, we've got some New Yorks on there. We've got a few rib steaks, and then we've also got a few, well, they've been cut down now, but half racks of baby back ribs. We've got galley slave, bookkeeper, and business partner Carol McCarty here, who's been staying ahead of it all for me today and keeping it rolling. And then I've got Lisa, who's second oldest Capital City Press employee, not oldest, but longest.
Longevity. Oh my gosh, go away.
When we purchased the company from Tom, we borrowed money to buy those and in forms of shares. And as that debt is paid off, those shares are distributed to the employees in the form of ESOP. We always had great employees. I mean, since I started here in '82, we've always had good, quality people here. It's always been a good place to work. We've always had good benefits, but the addition of the ESOP really changed the way our employees looked at their job. It's not just a job. It's their company. They watch every job through this place like a hawk. They take ownership of the jobs.
When we've got a job that's going sideways or we've got a job that's late, we all pull together. It doesn't matter what department people are in. Everybody will jump in and help to get the job done. We'll bring a pallet of work up, and people in pre-press, and Jackie at the front counter, and everybody lends a hand. Just do it. That's what we got to do to keep things rolling.
When I first started working for Tom Thompson here 20 some odd years ago, he used to kind of use the analogy, when we deliver a print job or a customer comes to pick it up, it's kind of like Christmas. We want to see that positive surprise on their face that they are really satisfied, and in most cases we exceed their expectation.
I've been doing work with Capital City Press for probably a little over 20 years now. Back when I was just ending college, got my first business cards printed from them. Just good advice from a friend, and that's been a relationship that's just fostered and grown and become rather amazing ever since. Because I've worked with them so long, I don't have to give them every single little detail about spelling out a job. They know my clients. If I say, here's the job, this is what my quantity is or whatever, they know the paper it's going to go on. I don't have to spell it out unless it's some unusual project. They got it.
We made a decision a few years ago that we weren't going to be like a lot of shops that got to our size, and we would specialize in bigger work with our bigger presses, and we have almost 4,000 customers on our books, and every customer's job is important. It's very personal to them. It's very stressful to have a print project with a tight deadline, and so whether you're our biggest customer or our smallest customer, we treat your job like it is the most important job in the shop, and if you need it today, and we've promised to get it done for you today, then we're going to find a way to make that happen.
We aren't always in control of our schedule when we're the designer working on a project for a client. In fact, sometimes the client isn't even in control, and timelines can get very short. Capital City Press is a great partner on such a project. There's been more than one time when I've been out in the Cap City parking lot on a Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and they've worked that morning to get a project out for me. They're incredible with their follow-through, incredible as a partner.
It started in the mid '80s with going through and eliminating all the hazardous chemicals. we put in an ink mixing system that allowed us to use canisters of ink instead of cans of ink. The canisters never form a skin, and if you're not familiar with printing, a can of ink will exposed to the air will form a thick skin on it, and every time you need to use that ink, you need to take that skin off and throw it away. When we put the ink mixing system in and canister system in, we saw an immediate reduction of 50% of our ink usage just by eliminating those skins. And so there again, we not only found a more environmentally friendly way to do business, but you can imagine the cost savings, you know. And with that 50% reduction in our overall usage of ink, that was at the same time we grew by almost 50%, and started to really look at ways to fine tune that. We went from about a $3 to $4 million printer as a medium quantity generator of hazardous waste to a $6 to $7 million printer who was a small quantity generator of waste, and we eliminated the need to even have to do the paperwork.
You know, we just finished up in September. We had our 40th anniversary party, and when we talk about relationships and the clients that we have the pleasure of working with, we had the first customers that Capital City Press ever had in the history of the company that are still clients that attended that function.
A lot of companies, they get to a point where they have a large customer that represents 30 or 35% of their work, and they dictate, you know, who they serve and how they serve them. I think our biggest customer that we have does not generate 5% of our revenue.
There is a future for print. It's an essential product. There are certain areas and industries that have been able to eliminate it, but when it comes down to, you know, having a first impression or a last impression, you know, a quality printed product is really, you know, one of the most effective ways to do that.
You know, the printing process has a lot of detail to it. There are a lot of steps, and there are a lot of printers in town, more than one way you can go. And I think it's because the detail and the attention to that detail that Capital City Press gives that we work with them so often.
If it weren't for the relationships and the great clients that Capital City Press has, there wouldn't be a Capital City Press.